So next week, our theme is love, looking beyond size, skin, and status. Whew, God, I don't know about you. This brought up so much for me. What thoughts have you had around this, Ade?
Yeah, it's such a loaded one, actually. Size, skin, status. So, in terms of size, it could be, you know, our physical size. It could be penis size. It could be, size of our bank balance. And in terms of skin, what comes to mind for me obviously is around, skin color, race, ethnicity. And then in terms of status, obviously there's HIV status, there's financial status, there's social status. So it's such a loaded theme. And at the same time, I'm really looking forward to the exploration actually, because, I know it's something that I have thought about right from the time I came out, actually. I remember coming out onto the scene when I was 27, and size, skin, status were things that were just in the field. I remember being very conscious of my race when I went out, being, in some situations, the only Black person, in the venue. In terms of size, I think for me it was height. I'd never really had any issues around my height before, but there was this thing around, being seen as too short. And then in terms of status, for me it was, I think, financial status, because at the time I wasn't earning loads of money, and there was this sense of, because I didn't have loads of money, feeling of not feeling good enough. So it certainly is a loaded one. I'm excited, and at the same time, I have that fear that's also coming up. What's going to be unleashed? What's going to be, coming to the surface? What
Yeah,
about for you?
yeah. I ended up doing a little audit. So I wrote down all the different people I've had substantive relationships with, and then started to look at things like size, status, skin, and to see whether there's patterns there, just to get a handle on my history. It's quite a lot of history.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was really interesting. I think and complex and complicated, and so all those things you just mentioned were true of me. I think another thing to add in now is age as well, because now I'm older, I'm probably more conscious of my sense of attractiveness or not because of age. I think in the past, I mean, we're the same height. I never really had a thing about my height, about, I'm too small. My mum always said diamonds don't come in big boxes. And I think that was a really great thing, So I've always thought I was normal height, which I know I'm not. But things like skin and status, it's funny because I was poor as well. But when I look at the list of the guys that I went out with, most of them had no money whatsoever. So we were both poor. Like, we used to go walking because we couldn't go night clubbing. We used to go walking at nighttime for hours and hours and hours. But I managed to kind of see that there's this thing around head and heart. And I think that very often my head says, oh, go for this type of person, this kind of size, this skin color, this blah, 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 blah. But what I've found is, on occasion, I've met somebody and something has happened, like I've felt an attraction, and it's developed. And it surprised me because all those things on that list, most of them did not apply to that person. So I think of someone that I met that I had a relationship with, and I was like, really? Like, you're attracted to this person, but they don't. My head was like, no, we don't do this. This is not what we do, But my heart was like, I feel really connected. So there was an energy there. So yeah, I realized that I can get very much into my head around what's attractive to me, informed by society, informed by all those messages. But then often my heart suddenly feels pulled to somebody that doesn't fit those criteria. And when I think about the loving spaces, the loving gay spaces that we create, but also I've been to as a participant, that also happens. It's like, I remember going to Loving Men, and actually in this room of all these guys, my heart started to open. My head was quieter. And I just found myself kind of falling in love generally with lots of people, but also actually feeling very attracted to guys that I would never have considered before. So I think there's something about me really allowing my heart to open, and that dissolves some of the rigidity that comes with the head.
Yeah, and that's what I love about the theme, which is looking beyond, you know, looking beyond size, skin, and status. And I think it's going to be a very rich exploration.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah, really looking forward to it.